Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, the title of this video, in my opinion, is pretty accurate. This is a grave warning for those of you that have fiat currency sitting in a bank somewhere. Now, I follow a YouTuber. I've been following him since, I think he had like 17,000 subscribers, and now he's got like almost 250,000, who is an expert in the markets. I consider him an expert. This gentleman is the real deal, and he put out what I consider a grave warning. Now, he's not the type of YouTuber that you see out there saying everything's going to crash tomorrow, everything's going to crash. He's pretty much teaching people, and has been teaching people, how to play the market so that they can get ahead, right? And so that they can do well, so that they can move into real things with the fiat currency that they make from the market. And I think that's fine. I personally don't play the stock market myself, but if you can make money from the stock market and then get real things, by all means. And he's always touted that. A lot of people out there are always saying, it's the end of the world tomorrow, it's the end of the world. So for me to hear him say it today, for me to hear the way he said it, I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to stop talking. It's just, in my opinion, we are probably closer than not to where this market completely implodes. And he's not the only one saying it. And I'm going to share with you a couple of other articles that I found of experts in the same field that are not YouTubers, but that are touting the same message. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I have no idea what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the economy or finances. So you have to do your own research. But you have to listen to what this gentleman has to say. And I personally have the utmost respect for this person. All right, so I'm not putting him out there lightly. I hope that he doesn't mind that I used about 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes of a clip from a video that he put out today. But I am going to provide you with his YouTube channel, and I would truly hope that you go visit him and subscribe. Before that, I want to go ahead and show you a very short clip of a YouTuber whom I interviewed with here, I think it was yesterday, the financial prepper, Chris. I want to tell you, I was watching his latest video, and something that he said on there really resonated with me, and I am sure that it will resonate with you as well. All right, and on top of that, I did do an interview with him, and I think he put that interview out early yesterday. So go check it out. Listen, I like Chris a lot. He is a really good person. To me, yesterday, or actually this morning, really early this morning, around 4 o'clock in the morning, he calls me. He's like, hey, man, are you still sleeping? I'm like, what, are you kidding me? It's 4 o'clock in the morning already. Why would I be sleeping? But anyways, we talked for a little bit. I was like, you know what, man? You and me are like the same thing. You and me are like brothers. You know, we're brothers from another mother. I said, and I told him this. I said, the only difference between you and me, Chris, is that you have no hair, you're tall, and you're fit. Whereas I have hair, I'm short, and I'm fat. I said, other than that, we are exactly alike.
It's getting so far out of reach just to live a decent life now. You know, it's like it's not like it used to be, where you could be a carpenter and raise, 5 or 6 kids and have a good life, and the mom stay at home. It's not like that anymore. It's like everybody's got to work as hard as they can all the time to scratch by.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Chris, the financial prepper, he is an average guy, just like me, just like you. I would assume that most people that watch my videos are just average people that are living their everyday lives. But he said something that, on that clip, he said something that, is true. It's like people are having to work their butts off just to keep their heads above water. And it's something that I've been talking about for years, where the system by which we are governed, in addition to our monetary system, is one in which you are kept on that first rung of the ladder, just making enough to be able to keep your biologicals, all right, alive, to be able to eat, to be able to heat, to be able to drink. That's where they want you. That's why it is very important for people to do their own research, to study, to learn from different YouTubers, from different financial channels and things like that. That way you can get a different perspective. Now I want you to go ahead and listen to the clip that I took from, and this, by the way, is Mr. Gregor Mannarino. Now, he comes off a little cocky sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, but in my opinion, it's not cockiness, it's confidence. Because when he talks with confidence in what he's telling you. Because like I said, in my opinion, he is an expert at what he does. Now listen to this.
Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregor Mannarino. It's Thursday, September 1st, 2022. People, do not make light of what I am about to tell you. The 10-year yield right now is spiking, and what appears to me in an uncontrolled fashion. What does this mean in the bigger picture here? The debt market is getting out of control, and we literally could be days away from a complete meltdown of the entire financial system. If this continues, right now the 10-year yield is 3.24. Look, you and I have known for years that at one point we are going to get an implosion in this debt market that's going to rock the foundation of the world by a complete lockup of the financial system. Forget again about the stock market. Okay, the stock market is an entity among itself here. Rates are continuing to rise in what appears to me as an uncontrolled fashion. There is clear instability in the debt market. You got a massive sell-off here in the debt market and a sell-off in the stock market. People, liquidity is drying up. The financial system hinges on liquidity being added to the system constantly, not taken away here. So watching this spike here in the 10-year yield, like I said, we're at 3.24. If central banks don't step in today, okay, tomorrow, whatever, it's just done. So I want you to understand the gravity of the situation here. I told you yesterday, go to the bank, take out some cash just to have on hand, because if this really does happen, let's say we get 3.5, 4%, 4.25, bang, 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 we know the debt bubble has burst.
So you heard it. You heard it from his mouth. And I'm going to go ahead and read to you a couple of articles. Well, not read to you, but go over a couple of articles from two other financial experts that are pretty much saying the same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not telling you what to do, but I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out there today and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I can pull a few dollars out of the bank. I'm not telling anyone to do this, but that's what I'm going to do. If I were talking to my brother today, I would say, hey, go to the bank, and if you have money in there that you don't need to pay bills, go ahead and pull some of it out and make sure that you keep it in a drawer or in a safe place that you can get to it really quick. Because what Mr. Gregor Mannarino is saying right there is what I've been talking about for a long time as well. However, I'm not as well versed, all right, and I don't have the vocabulary as he does to talk about it in a very intellectual manner, right? He knows it's second nature for him. All right, me, I have to learn this. He knows it. Once the government stops printing money, once they stop bringing new money into creation and adding it to the monetary system, that the debt market is going to have what is a liquidity problem, that people are going to be getting out of it. And there is so much more debt in the system than there is actual, what they call money. All right, we'll call it money, even though we know it's not real money. It's fake. It's fiat currency. There is so much debt in the system that there's not enough money in the system to service that debt. That's why towards the middle or towards the end of that clip that I played of him, he says that if the Fed doesn't step in right now or tomorrow or whenever, and he meant soon, that there is not going to be enough money in the system to service all of the debt that there is. And we will have a liquidity crunch, meaning what? Meaning that ATMs will go down, credit cards will go down, your banks will close. Now think about a world like that. You waking up in the morning and all of those services, pretty much the entire monetary system being put on hold. What would that do to your life? Prepare for an epic finale. Jeremy Grantham warns tragedy looms as super bubble may burst. I'm not going to read this article, ladies and gentlemen, but Jeremy, what is his name? Jeremy Grantham. This gentleman is also an expert economist who's been around the block once or twice. You see, most of the financial advisors and brokers and hedge fund managers that are around today, they're not really that old. A lot of them didn't even live through the Great Recession in 2008 as an adult. They were maybe children during that time, but they really didn't live through it. Their parents did. So they didn't get real first-hand knowledge as to what it is that happened and why it happened. And those folks that are running all of these funds and running all of these markets, they don't think, they have recency bias, meaning, hey, it didn't happen, in the last so many years. I haven't seen it happen, so it's not going to happen. They think that the balloon is just going to keep on inflating and inflating and inflating and never pop. Well, what happens when you fill up a balloon with helium and you let it go? It goes up, right? But what you don't see is that the higher that balloon gets, the bigger it gets, right? Because there's a lot of positive pressure inside of it as the gases are getting bigger and bigger and bigger because it's higher in altitude. Eventually it pops. And this system by which we've been governed, this economic system, and the reason I say that we're governed by the economic system or the monetary system is because that is how they keep us in control. Once they can put a price on your labor, you're under their control, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about that. This system has been kept up with dollars, with inflation. Right? So the inflation that's been created in the last decade or so is what's kept this system up. And the unfortunate part is this is what's going to be heartbreaking, is that if and when, and I'm pretty sure that it will be when, all right, not if, this system finally goes, in my opinion, anyone that has paper wealth in a bank, in a fund, in a 401k, TSP, whatever you want to call it, it is going to be gone. And what I mean by gone is this. Not that it's going to disappear. Right? If you have $1 million in the bank, let's say, and the system pops, that $1 million is not going to disappear. First of all, it was never really there. All right? But you think about that right there. But it's not going to disappear. What's going to disappear is its purchasing power. Whenever there is a monetary reset or a changeover of a system, the people that suffer are the working class, and they will suffer again. And real wealthy people, the real wealthy people, they understand that instead of keeping cash, they're better off keeping assets, because as inflation rises, assets rise as well. Whereas inflation rises for the poor man, for the working man, those dollars fall in value, and the things that you need to live rise in value or rise in price. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you take a look at the dollar today, it's very, very high. I think it's at about 109. It's breached 109. People may think, well, that's good for the United States, but it's not. It's not good for us. And let me tell you why. Because here in the U.S., are things going down in price or going up in price? They're still going up in price, even though we have a very strong dollar. The reason that it's not good for us is because a lot of the dollars that are out in the system, in the economy, whether be it in the U.S., but mainly outside of the U.S. borders, are held in loans from developing nations, right? Emerging nations, emerging economies. And what happens is that when they borrow those dollars, they borrow actual dollars because they can pay a lower interest rate when they borrow those, right? But if the dollar goes up, then it means that now they have to pay with more of their currency. So for example, to put it very simply, let's say that you live in India and you're a business and you say, okay, I can either borrow a million rupees for 20% interest, or I can borrow the equivalent in dollars for 3% interest or 4% interest. Their business people are going to be like, well, yeah, obviously I'm going to take the loan that's a lot less in interest, so I don't have to pay that much in interest. So they take the loan in interest. So that means that for, let's say, $100,000, let's say, I'm just making up numbers here, but let's say they borrow $100,000, which is the equivalent of 1,000,000 rupees, right? So now they only have to earn 1,000,000 rupees to pay back that $100,000. But if the value of the dollar goes up like it's been going up really fast, Now they have to earn more rupees. Now instead of having to earn 10 rupees per US dollar, now they maybe have to earn 20 rupees per US dollar. So now instead of having to pay back that $100,000 loan with 1,000,000 rupees, they would have to pay it back with 2,000,000 rupees. And we all know that wages don't keep up with inflation. So now they're out. Now they can't afford to pay that loan back because their rupees have been devalued against the dollar. And how does that hurt us here in the United States? Well, a lot of investments in emerging markets are made from here in the United States. People are vested in them. So if all of these other companies and emerging markets, if they start to fail and default, it's going to hurt the stock market even more over here. And the stock market is directly correlated, or the markets as a whole is directly correlated to the pensions of everyone in the US. If you have a pension, a TSP, whatever you want to, not a TSP, a pension, a public pension, just like CalPERS in California, they invest those monies. A lot of them, they invest in the stock market and in markets in general. So a lot of people are going to lose a lot. And I mean, there's so much more that we can get into talking about this right here, but I'll leave it at that. Please do your own research, all right? Another famous economist, I've mentioned this gentleman here before. The era of fake money is gone, says Egon von Greyers. And ladies and gentlemen, fake money is what has gotten us here. We all know, and if you don't know, you need to understand what real money is. And you need to understand that the system that was built, our monetary system that was built here in the United States, i.e. the Federal Reserve, it was done on purpose in order to steal your labor. Think about it. If you haven't heard me say this before, if you're here for the first time, think about that. It was made to steal your labor, to make you poor, to keep you working. Just like that UN paper that I talked about the other day, where they say that hungry people are necessary for the elite because hungry people work harder. So it's good to keep people hungry around the world because they work harder. This system was put in place in order to steal from us our labor and our freedoms, ladies and gentlemen. I just hope that you all take what I'm saying here as just a warning and encouragement that you will do some more research so that you can protect yourselves in whatever way you may deem necessary for your situation. Now, I wanted to talk about this really quick because this is going to affect everyone, ladies and gentlemen, in the United States. But here, this article is from almost a month ago. It's almost a month old, and it says, no immediate solution as New Mexico town has only 50 days of drinking water left. And then we get one right here. This one is from August 29th. Contamination leaves New Mexico town with fewer than 20 days of clean drinking water. Now, the reason that I'm going over this real quick is just to give you a message that I put out there several times. Get a good quality water filter. That way, if something like this happens to you, you can at least have water that's potable that will not get you sick. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get a good quality water filter, the best one that you can afford. I recommend, first and foremost, to have a reverse osmosis water filter that connects right to your plumbing, and you can put it right on your sink. It's very easy to install. Take a look at my Amazon storefront. There's a few of them that I have there that I recommend, and one of those I actually have. I actually installed in under my sink. So I know from personal experience that it is a good quality water filter and it actually works. I've actually even tested the water. And for some of you out there who are going to say, well, reverse osmosis takes everything out of the water. There's no minerals or anything like that. And what I have to say about that is two things. Number one, they actually have a reverse osmosis water filtration system there. That's a pretty good price too. It's like $200 and something. It's really not a lot for what you're getting. That actually has a cartridge that adds minerals back to the water. So if that's what you're afraid of, if that's what you don't like about reverse osmosis, they do have one that has a cartridge on it that actually adds minerals back. However, the one that I have doesn't have that. When I ordered it, they would not ship that specific one to Alaska. I don't know why. However, this is how I feel about that, and this is my opinion. As long as you're eating every day, as long as you're consuming calories in the form of food or even other liquids that have those minerals, you should be fine. Because think about it. How much water do you drink a day? Even if you drink a gallon of water a day, right? Not all at once, all right? But even if you drink like a gallon or a half a gallon of water a day, all of the electrolytes that are in your food that you ingest should be just fine to be diluted into the water that you drink, all right? Electrolytes are nothing but, sugars, salts, things like that. And as far as minerals, that should be in the food that you eat as well. That's the way I see it. I've been using it for years. We've never had any problems with it. And I recommend it 100%. So if you don't have a good water filter, if you want to start with one of those, start with one of those. If you just want to get a countertop, you can either buy a Berkey water filter, which comes highly recommended from a lot of different people, or you can make your own Berkey water filter. I have a video where I show you how to make your own with the guts of the Berkey. You can buy the guts separately and then just make your own with two food grade 5-gallon buckets. Very easy. Probably take you about 10 minutes to do it. All you need is a drill with one bit and a small wrench. Very easy. But the message is this: get a water filter and put it to use on an everyday basis. Not something that you put away for SHTF, but something that you use every day. Having said that, again, I will leave the links to the articles on a pinned comment. But first, I'm going to go ahead and leave the link to Financial Preppers channel, and I'm also going to leave the link to Mr. Mannarino's channel as well. Why? Because I highly recommend both of those channels. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have a great day. Thank you very much for joining in today. And if you haven't seen the payday prep video that I just put up here this morning, go check it out, because I came up with some things that maybe you didn't think about. All right, I know I hadn't thought about those things until I listened to Canadian Prepper's video. I think it was a couple of days ago now, and he said, listen, I'm putting all of my money into real stuff because I think even the Canadian Prepper's talking about it. All right, so I was like, man, you know what? The Canadian Prepper's talking about it. I've been talking about this for such a long time. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to look for things that I know I'm going to need. And they are things that I can actually store pretty much forever, not have to worry about it going bad. And it's still going to be there when I need it. And it actually preserves my purchasing power because I've already purchased it at today's prices. Having said that, have a great day. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I'm out. God bless.